How you doing? This is Chris with Chris's Comments. It's Thursday. It's April 29th, and it is raining like a son of a gun. We got all these thunderstorms coming in from the Pacific that just jacked up everybody, and they're driving and all this good stuff. We got a couple of road closures and some floodings. Really, really cool. Fun stuff for a rideshare driver. Now, this subject today is the reaction to Biden's speech yesterday about the economic plan and his American Rescue Plan and his Affordable Care Act and his American Families Plan and all this good stuff. It was great. It was great. He told a lot of potential. He told a lot of stuff that leads to a big hope, a lot of potential for hope, and everything in between. It was awesome. Experts are saying that a lot of it sounds fundamentally just, but there's some of it, particularly with the family planning, that $225 billion child care and family help, family assistance plan. He says they're all saying that he's reaching, that he's trying too hard to get that much into it, that nobody can really project, nobody can really see that much going into it. And it's understandable. You know, there's tons of child care places. There's lots of families in need, and there's very, 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 very little physical evidence of the oh man, what did he call it? There's very few family paid leave. There's very little evidence of that actually being proven to be profitable in any way, shape, or form. So we got quite a stirring going on right now about this part of his plan. I have to honestly say, go for it anyway. Go for it anyway. We're taxing the wealth. He said at first $1 million, tax for every $1 million that a person was making. But in depth, it's actually even lower than that. There's a certain percentage that's going on for those making $400,000 a year, which was a trip, because I personally was thinking just $500,000. But if their calculations can actually prove to be beneficial for those $400,000 per year and higher, well then great. That's fantastic. That's $100,000 more than what I was even thinking would be a good round number. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it right there. And my next segment is going to be about how we, the rideshare drivers, are going to be looking forward to it, with more and more people having access to us. But that's this right now is just the gist of it, the long and the short of it. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking forward to anything economically good, just simply because the more money people got, the more they spend, and of course the more they spend, the more they're actually coming to people like me who are rideshare drivers. It's actually it actually leaves like such a ray of hope. But that's pretty much it right there. This is the reaction. He went on and on and on about jobs. Oh yeah, the clean energy jobs. Now let's just be honest. You really can't see something like that going on without having new jobs. So my question is, why aren't fuel industries just transferring fuel and economic jobs to the clean energy jobs. Whatever jobs that has to be cut off or budgeted out, transfer that budget to an entirely different job task. And corporations do that all the time. It goes along with the same of changing your job corporate title from, Industry Inc. to Industry LLC. That little tiny bit of change is a huge beneficial services to the companies, and it's very big with keeping its profits. So they've already got the experience on how to do that. Excuse me. To see them cry and complain and all this other garbage about and claiming that it just can't be done, it's total BS. It is 100% BS. I'm thinking maybe the only way for them to survive is for them to actually excuse me. Oh, sorry, this rain just really makes me sleepy. And I'm a rideshare driver. But to see the wealthy and the upper class just complain and not only not give any kind of reasons, but just say it's not going to work, and that's it. That's it. It's exhausting now. It's tiring. It's the same old song and dance. It goes along with the same nightmarish bull crap. If you tax the wealthy, you'll lose more jobs. Again, that's just a bunch of BS. Budget cuts and job layoffs go hand in hand with the modern day industries. Okay, they do it once a year with employee annual reviews. They do it quarterly with certain inspections and certain letdowns. And then here, like places here in Texas, they can do it anytime. And then to top it all off, for just about any reason, one little mark that puts a frown on the company and you're gone. That's common, especially in this day and age. And I'm willing to bet real money that it's common in your neck of the woods, whatever state you're in, whatever state of the 50 states that you're in. One of the things that he said about the unions, even though I am not anti-union, I'm not pro-union either. I really don't like the idea of job security based upon an organization that could keep the industries in check. It's kind of a unified temp agency as far as I'm concerned. Because when you're done working this project work in the oil industry, you can go to the union and they'll send you to another one. Or in the electrical union, one that I almost actually joined before my leg injury. I stumbled down some stairs and blew out my MCL. But I was in the telecom and electrical, and I was literally close to joining the electrical union here in San Antonio, Texas. And really, the only thing that I really got out of that was that there are officials that say once you're done illuminating a project, putting the electrical in, once you're done putting the electrical in one project, you go straight to the union and they send you to another place. And again, that's a lot like a temp agency. Cutting out the middleman, you can actually do here in San Antonio. You can do it here in Texas, and that's fine. A union here in Texas is actually optional. It's optional, and I understand the importance of that. I'm just not that big of a fan of having to pay a fee for somebody that's going to look for a job for me when I can do that myself. And I really don't like the idea of no company seeing you unless you're in a union. No company even thinking about your application unless you reject unions. I don't like the idea of any of those. You know, I prefer the right to work state of living, and I prefer that, any task that I want to accomplish, I do it myself. But that's just me talking. So I understand the unions. If Biden's plan can make it beneficial all around, that'd be fantastic. Despite the fact that just makes it susceptible to more greed. And you all know what I'm saying if you ever studied economics in any way, shape, or form. Anything that is of big profit or benefit to everybody is always got to be thwarted by the people of greed and a small group of people, that will just do nothing but make it a pain in the ass. The Rockefellers, the Koch brothers, if not an actual threatening organization from hundreds of years ago, like the Masons and the Illuminati, and all that crap. There's, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there are organizations, that have done that. They've taken control, therefore they rule, the party, or the organization, I should say, and in comes the corruptions with the charges, the fees, the taxes, the limitations, the regulations, and this is all for workers to try to make a living. They join these organizations to make a decent living, and they wind up having these organizations turning everything around on them, if for needlessness excuses, needless purposes. It's just stupid. It's dumb. Hence the reason why a right to work state like Texas has its privileges. You're going through, if you get budget cut, you're gonna lose your job through a corporate budget cut. Sure, you can be struggling, but you're making your own way. You're not having to go file a grievance, and you're not having to fill out any more forms. When you're doing it on your own, you're just doing the applications and you're sending resumes, and it's that simple. Despite the fact that you're on a clock, how fast can I get this job? How much time do I have until the first paycheck? And how quick will that be? Or quick or slow will that be till I get financially stable again? A union helps out, but at the same time, you're paying fees until that project is done, or until that budget has you laid off. The budget cuts of that company has you laid off. And this whole biswax, well, the president is responsible for this. That's a bunch of BS. It's been a bunch of BS. It's one of the reasons why Texas still is a right to work state. We've been watching this crap going on in California and New York and all them other Yankee states. We've been watching all that crap. Every time there's a change of political power, people are laid off. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat in charge. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican in charge. There's nothing more full of crap than an organization blaming a government, whatever. That's nothing full of crap. Nothing more full of crap than that, dude. Shit. You even got. I mean, they don't put a light. Religious people don't put a light to that. Churches are corrupt like a mother lover. They're constantly taking tax write-offs, and they're constantly expressing hate, especially to those who are not a part of their church. But yet they're the chosen people for God. You join them, and you're guaranteed a trip to heaven once you're dead, and that's such bull crap. But even still, they don't hold a candle to corrupt organizations and corrupt corporations that blame, Obama. It was Hillary. Anybody that says it's the politicians is just full of crap. Plain and simple. George Bush, it's the war for the oil. That's why you got to lose your job. No, that was all bull crap. You know, Trump. It's Trump. You know, he wants to put all our money into the border wall, so we can't keep you. That's a bunch of crap too. Any corporation that blames the government or a president or a politician or whatever political leader is just full of crap. It's all about money for them. But which brings me back to the budget, the plans that Biden is proposing. You know, if he gets all of this passed, we're obviously not going to see anything coming so soon, but there will be a gradual change, and it will be obviously for the better. Obviously for the better. I mean, and I, a rideshare driver, can actually bring a testimony to it. I'll be transporting a lot of you out there, you know, not just, you know, even those of you that have a car, you know. One of the things, and I know this because one of the things that I always transport are people that lost their car in crashes, dents, fender benders, you know, totaled incidences, whether it be in an actual car crash with another car or sliding off the road like in this wet weather, you know, drunks or just not seeing an animal, boom, and there, you know, your car, you know, bounces over to one side and hits a railing. You know, there's a wide variety of reasons as to how it happens. And here in San Antonio, you pay attention to the news, you'll see there's at least 4 a day. You know, and not all of them serious, but they do happen. There's probably 4 that already happened just this morning because of this rain. I haven't checked the news yet, but that's not the point. The point is that, you know, you got things that's going to be happening, and you're going to need a financial break. In some cases, that raise to $15 an hour, and it's going to show. It's going to show here in my car. I'm going to see you. I'm going to see each and every one of you. Even the ones, and from everybody that said, God, we could use this break, we could use this financial $15 an hour, onto that subject. $15 an hour, all the way to this one guy in my ride. I tell you this much. You raised up to $15 an hour. You're going to go out to a Happy Meal and it's going to cost $20. You're going to want a dinner and it's going to be $100 a plate. Raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And I gotta be honest with you. I used to smoke a lot of dope. I used to snort cocaine. I used to drink illegally. I had a connection when I was a teenager. I went out doing my Tom Sawyer exploration kind of thing, like a normal American kid usually did back in the 80s. But my path led me to the Damn the Man crowd, which spoke this kind of crap all the time. And it was basically just because, you know, don't get me wrong, eventually you found out that they wanted weed to be legal. But there was a lot of the Damn the Man crowd, and there was a lot of people that there was a flip side of that coin. You know, you had welfare should be bigger and everybody should get all this free stuff. And then you had the opposite end of it where, you know, people shouldn't be getting free stuff because it doesn't make them work. And then you got the other people, we should have a good wage so everybody could buy stuff instead of getting free stuff. And then you had the flip opposite. If you raise the prices on everything and everybody, then it's not going to matter. If you raise the wages on everybody, then it's not going to matter what they do. And then you're Russian. It's socialism. You know, it's communism. It's socialism. And you're going to be paying $50 for a head of lettuce. You know, and you're going to have to get in line for it too. No, I'm going to be honest with you. There was a little bit of everything that I just said in certain parts of the world where one of those techniques did fail. Okay. And I'm not going to get into them because I only have a certain amount of time. But to say that it was going to be happening here in America and that it is happening and all this other stuff was total BS. As sure as it's BS today. I started working at $4.25 an hour when my teens. That wasn't my first job. My first job was a paper boy at the age of 12, and it was commission pay. But I'm talking about hourly wages now. It was $4.25. It went up to $4.75, and the threats of communism and the horror stories and predictions of socialism and financial ruin, they were all out there. They were all tossed out there. It's BS. It was BS then. It's BS now. You know? And I understand $5 an hour, which eventually went up to $5 and then $5.15. I understand that. You know, once every time that went up, the minimum wage went up. It was catastrophic predictions. The sky was always going to be falling. That is also the same old song and dance that I'm referring to. When everything went up to $8.50, I think, $8.50 an hour, there were still businesses down here that were still paying $7.75. In fact, there still are. There still is a couple of businesses down here like Walmart's and grocery stores and what have you that are still paying only $7.75 per hour. You know, to think that these companies, and I'll bring you this, I'll tell you this much: if any company out there has to face paying their employees $15 an hour and says, well, I have to cut your job, and I have to close down the shop or charge outrageous prices. You know what? Just shut down. Just shut down. Because if you honestly believe that we're going to believe that a company out here that pays hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get started is going to tank because they have to pay their employees $15 an hour, which is always a portion of what the store makes in general. Okay? That's a tiny ass portion by comparison of what a business makes overall. Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. A business is always going to be booming. The business owner is always going to be making a lot more, 10 times, 15 times more than the employee. To think that you have to start cutting employees just because the minimum wage goes up to $15 an hour. You know, $8 extra. Dude, for us to believe that you're actually going to tank, dude, just go ahead and tank. Go ahead and tank. Because if you honestly can't pay your employees the proper minimum wage, you know, you're either greedy, you're corrupt, or you really are stupid, and you shouldn't be running a business. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That $20 an hour. I'll tell you another thing about that. $20 for a Happy Meal. If in order for business to compensate paying $15 an hour. Okay. I call BS. I call BS by way of food trucks. You go to food trucks where they're all independents. They're paying as little as $8. You're paying as little as $8.50 as that I once paid, and as much as $12.50 for a big combo. Depending on the size of the combo or the type of meal, you know. Why in the world? And then to top it all off, food trucks meet in parks. So it's a variety of food trucks for the finicky eater, you know. And there's a lot of picky eaters these days. I hate them. I can't stand them. But anyway, you got a lot of that going on. And we're supposed to believe that we're going to be paying $20 for a Happy Meal, for something as little as a Happy Meal, just because McDonald's has to, or any other fast food joint, has to pay $15 an hour wages to their employees. Dude, they're either greedy, they're lying to you, and they're selfish, or they really are stupid and just really shouldn't be. They should close down. They shouldn't be operating. If that's the case, you shouldn't even be operating. Let them tank. Let them tank. But that's my spiel, based off of the Biden plan, based off of the economics. I haven't even gotten to the family care, the child care, the education that he was talking about. I'll have to do that on an entirely different video because I'm running out of time here. So that's the spiel. And I know I was all over the place, but as you could see, they were all connected. Okay, they were all connected through the economics aspect. Y'all take care. Take it easy. Take care of yourselves. It's storming over here. It might be extremely dry over there, but no matter what, stay safe. Okay? This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.